Hello and welcome back to A Neighbour Here, episode 275. My name is Tom.
And my name's Zen.
You can find us at abhpod.com, where somewhere on there, if you scroll down, there's an Amazon banner. If you click through that Amazon banner and go to amazon.co.uk and do all your shopping as you usually do, because it's the safest way to shop at the moment, I guess, although, Jeff Bezos has so much money. But this is a way of bringing some of the money back from that greedy bastard. We get 5% of your total basket spend once you spend whatever it is that you're spending with him. So we get a tiny bit of the money that he's making, and that helps us with our web fees.
It does. Our preferred way for you to support us is our Patreon. We only ask for $1 a month. And the reason it's our preferred way is because you are supporting us and helping us pay our hosting, but it also allows you to get extra content from us. So we're sort of giving you more for that support, sort of repaying the favour you're doing us. Some of that extra content is the main episodes you'll get, but without this intro. So I suppose that's extra in a way, even though we're taking something away from you. You get spoiler casts. When we do spoiler casts, we will record them. We will release them to our patrons as we recorded them. You also get exclusive After the Podcast, which only go out to our patrons. And you'll get a little URL, so it's easier for you to get hold of. You take that URL, you paste it into your podcast app, and it all gets delivered to you automatically.
Indeed it does. Those spoiler casts only happen when the cinemas are back open, and apparently they are, but I don't know whether I'm going for the foreseeable.
No.
Anyway, you can find us to have a chat with us on Twitter at ABH Pod, on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. You can watch us on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast.
You can. Also, they do get posted to our Patreon, the videos. Like these videos that we record for the main episodes, we will release the video on you just for our patrons. On this episode, anyway, there's a various number of subjects we talk about. I talk about my troubles with Sky and getting my services installed.
I talk about some disputes with the neighbour.
We also discuss some films that we've seen in the interim while we've not been recording.
But first, let's have a chat with you.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Enjoy.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a while.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird one the other week. That was a weird one. I don't know. I mean, I put out a message on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it was a public post, and I shared it to our Twitter and Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
It was just a weird one. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. We were having... Yeah, so on the Sunday, I think we had a Sky engineer booked.
How long have you had that Sky engineer booked for, by the way?
Story. That is a whole story, that Sky engineer thing. Because, I'll get into that in a bit, but that Sky engineer we had booked, and I think I totally forgot about it. And then when I messaged you, you couldn't do the Saturday?
No, literally the only spare space in my diary for 2 weeks was that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I literally haven't stopped, mate, for 2 weeks.
No, and yeah, granted, obviously I messaged you late because that's what I do, and I was like, it's cool, I'll sort something out, and then the pressure of sorting something out just got on top of me, and I just kept putting it off, and it's just the thing I do where I'm like, yeah, I'll sort it out, and then when it comes to it, I'm just like, what am I going to do? And then I just freeze. And it's just something that happens a lot anyway. I've said it to Liz, like if she gives me a list of jobs to do, and it's one of those things, if there's a list of jobs, if there's like 10 jobs on that list, I just look at it and I go, I don't know what to do.
You don't know where to start.
I don't know where to start. But I know in my head, if I start, that list of 10 jobs will only take me about half an hour, 45 minutes. But it's just the sheer... I don't know what it is. So I procrastinate, and then I sit there procrastinating, and then I feel bad for procrastinating, which makes me procrastinate even more. And it's just this self-feeding thing.
Yeah.
So
I get that. I by the time Monday or Tuesday rolled around, I realised that nothing had been posted, and it was literally like I had a half hour to myself for the first time in 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh shit, nothing's gone on. And I was like, is everything okay?
Yeah. You messaged me and checked up on me, which I do appreciate. But yeah. And then I still was determined to get something done. I never did. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to own it, put out the post. Like, it happens. Where are we now? 5, 6 years? Coming up 6 years? Yeah. Almost. It's the first time we've missed, I believe. Like, not done anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's possible that I could have made time, but you said that you were going to sort it. So, you know.
No, I'm not going to do that. It's, it's fine.
I'm not going to lie. I was pissed off.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and that's why I was just owning it. Like, fuck it. I just, I couldn't do it. This is why I couldn't do it. Put it out there, own it, realize that is likely to happen. But then it's one of those things that's whenever that happens, it's always you that ends up having to put something out. Yeah, and I didn't want that to happen. But then, but when it's left to me, nothing happens. So it's just one of those things. I put the message out there. You get messages from people saying, "Look, it's fine." Like, it
just happens, man.
But it's just that. Be honest, I think, is the thing. Just be honest that it's not going to happen earlier.
Yeah, like when you order a Skyman to come in and fix your internet and forget about it until the day before. That's or having your kitchen remodeled. Or any number of other things.
No, so Sky. Here's the thing with Sky, because it seems like I think it's various different people. I've been like, oh no, we've got Sky coming. Oh, we know we've got Sky coming. And like, if those all people all got together, it's like how many Sky services are they having set up? Now, what happened is we were supposed to get Sky and the Sky TV, Sky Broadband, and phone line in May, I want to say. So the first engineer came round the for broadband, and he was like, "Oh no, we can't do it because it's like we've got the phone line and everything there, but they couldn't activate it because they needed to set up a ladder in our neighbour's garden. But now they're not allowed to just like have a ladder up against the house; they have to bolt it into the floor or bolt it into the house."
Wow.
And because it was in a neighbour's garden, they couldn't bolt it to the house because our house has cladding. Right. And they're not allowed to bolt into cladding because you could break the cladding. They don't know what's behind it, stuff like that. So then they're like, we can't do it. Sorry. I was like, fine. So he went and we had to rebook for a couple of weeks later. The next day, the Sky TV engineer came round and was like, no, we can't do it because you've got cladding. And it's like, cool. Why didn't you ask on the phone when we were setting this up? Like, what? So they can't do it. So like, fine. They're like, what you need to do is get somebody else to come around and sort of fix something onto the wall that we can put our bracket on. I'll leave you with the bracket. I was like, that's cool.
What?
Yeah. So because it's cladding, they needed like some bracing behind the cladding.
Right. And that's up to you to do.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to do it just in case they break the cladding.
Okay.
So there are services that do that. So we had to get someone to come and put a bit of wood behind the cladding and then fix the bracket onto the cladding. And it is a whole thing. And yeah, it broke the cladding, but the wood filled the hole. So it's fine.
Right.
And he just, waterproof. So like, cool. So then the phone people, like they had to sort something out. They had to go to their team and figure out how they were going to do it. So that was taking months. It took months. Like they only did it last week, I think.
Yeah.
They watched it from 2 weeks ago, from March.
March, yeah.
March, May. I can't even remember.
One of those M months.
It's one of the M months. One of them. So then the second time this TV engineer came round, they were like, oh, well, no, how's the cable going to get into your house? Like, I don't... So the only bit of wall that wasn't window or window frame, it was like outside, it's like, I don't know, maybe like 2 inches. And inside it's like 4 inches or whatever. So they have to drill from the inside out. And because the wall inside is wider, they're not sure where it's going to come out. So they're like, so if you could get a 10 mil hole drilled in that, we'll come back and do it for you. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's making me angry listening to it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, when the first guy came and saw you couldn't do that, couldn't have looked where he's going to route the cable and then seen that there's a problem there and got you. And it's like, so eventually, all said and done, it's done. I even ended up going, no, I'm going to order cable and trace it through our ceiling and down the wall. I did that, and then the cable was
fuck full. That.
So then when the engineer came and did the TV, that cable was faulty. So it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
So I was like, I'll tell you what, just leave me a bunch of cable, leave me a bunch of the head so I can do it myself once you're gone. Just set up the TV and fuck off. And I will sort it myself, which I still need to do. And I'm just going to tack it around the walls.
So much easier, and then get some of that cable, that plastic stuff to put over the top of it. So much easier. No,
it's literally going to go around a door frame and then just around the floor, all the way around. Like, there's no way I'm not even bothering with trunking. Like, there's no point.
Fair enough. Yeah, no,
it's white cable going around white woodwork. It's going to be fine. Like,
it'll be okay.
But we've got Sky now, which is fantastic. Sky Q is great.
It is. I mean, we've had some run-ins with Sky in the last few weeks as well, to be fair. We pay for the sports channel, if not just for the F1.
Yeah.
Because it's the only place you can watch it in the UK. You can't even watch it on the F1 official TV app because Sky has got exclusive rights to it in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
And that somehow trumps the sport's own technology.
Yeah, it's the licensing, isn't it? Sky have got the license to broadcast it, which means they're not allowed to broadcast it themselves.
Yeah. So we found out that we can just drop all the other sports channels but the F1.
Oh, really? Oh, you can just get F1?
Apparently so, yeah. So we phoned them up and asked them to do it, and the guy was like, yeah, it goes down from like whatever we're paying. We'd be saving something like 20 odd quid getting it done.
Wow.
And we were like, yes, please sort that out. And then the bill came through the end of the month, and it had come down by like £2.
Ooh.
Not including, the admin fee and all that kind of bollocks that they bolt on. Yeah. So it actually ended up like this month costing us a shitload more. But even without that, it's £2 less expensive a month than it was. And we were like, no.
But that's like 5-6 channels, isn't it? Like the sports channels are ridiculous. Like there's loads now, isn't there?
You've got sports 1 through 4. You've got Premier League. You've got all the kind of pay-per-view boxing ones and all that kind of thing. So we had to phone them up and was like, look, we were quoted whatever it was, and you're taking the piss. And luckily, obviously, there was a recording of that phone call and the quote that was given. So hopefully next month... They have
to honour it.
Hopefully next month it'll be nice and cheap. But,
it's
they do make it difficult.
It's crazy. I mean, after all that shit with the broadband as well, like I had a text from Sky to say, like, we're trying to get hold of you to activate your broadband. And I'm like,
right.
I'm using it. Like, it works. I haven't phoned them back yet. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Maybe it's just the super fast they need to activate. I don't know. But yeah, so I think it's weird when we went through Sky. Did I ever tell the story about when Virgin were trying to get me to stay? I think I did.
Possibly.
Yeah, and they were like, oh no, but we can do this. It's like, it's customer retention. It's terrible. And, but so I think Sky, when we had Virgin, I think we were paying something ridiculous. I think it's like £76 or £78 a month or something for like everything.
Yeah.
And Sky is going to cost us like £81 a month, but we have to take off of that so we've gone for the Ultra HD blah, which includes Netflix subscription, the HD Netflix subscription. That costs us £6 more to have that on our package. But the Ultra HD Netflix subscription is £13 with Netflix. So it's like, okay, I'll get it through Sky then. So now I'm paying price. Netflix. Yeah. So it's half price. So it makes our bills more expensive than Virgin, but we're not paying
the
Netflix
additional
now.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you got to look
And
at.
they were trying to get me to say, they're like, oh, the broadband with Virgin's so much faster. I was like, it is, But you know what Sky have is plenty for what I need it for.
Yeah. It's not like, you know, you're a massive online MMO player.
No. Yeah, well, even with that you know, you don't need mega fast broadband to play online. You don't need that speed. Like, I don't need, like, if I can watch something streaming, it's fine. The only thing with Sky that I don't like is their on-demand stuff. You have to download it before watching it. Or you don't have to fully download it. You start the download and then...
And after about 2%, it's like, this is ready to view.
Yeah, but that's good because a lot of the times when I'm streaming stuff, even like through Amazon Prime, and like the first sort of 30 seconds are really blurry while it buffers.
Yeah.
So they try to stream it as quickly as possible. But obviously, doing it like this way with Sky, it's going to be the best quality straight up. Yeah, and
if you've got that HD package as well.
I think I've downloaded it Chapter 2 in Ultra HD.
Right. Yeah. I still haven't got around to seeing that yet.
I haven't, which is why I've done. So I did the responsible parenting thing and watched Chapter 1 with Chloe the other day.
Oh, right.
She loved it. Like, she thought it was great. Yeah. Like, she kept hiding behind a pillow, but that's what you do with horror films. Yeah. And I was like, but that's worse. If you can't see it, it's worse. Your brain can do a lot worse than they can on TV.
Yeah.
Just watch it. And as she's watching it, she's like, oh, yeah. And she wanted to watch Chapter 2, and it was before the Sky was installed. And I was like, well, Amazon have it, but you have to rent it. And blah, blah. And then Sky came, and I was like, oh, it's there for free. So we'll be watching that when Liz is at work.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. But there we go. I've also been watching... I watched the first 3 Daniel Craig James Bonds as well, because I'm on annual leave at the minute. So I watched them. I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to watch those 3. Really good.
Yeah, Casino Royale is one of the best Bonds ever. It stands up one of my absolute favourites, that.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace obviously had problems because of the writer's strike. That's why it doesn't have much of an actual plot.
Yeah, but I really liked it.
Did you watch them kind of?
Like really close. Yeah, a couple of days between them.
Because obviously, if you had to wait something like 2 years for that to come out, it made no sense at all. Like, because it's basically like the 4th act of Casino Royale.
Yeah.
It might as well be tacked onto the end to make it a super long.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah, granted, there is that, but I did really enjoy it. But then, like you say, I did have the benefit of watching them in quite close, like quite quick succession.
It only really works when you watch them very close together, if possible, back to back.
Yeah. But it was good, and Skyfall was really
Skyfall,
good,
isn't it?
Yeah, and I've ordered Spectre. Because I've got that box set which has a space for Spectre to put Spectre in.
Yeah.
So I think I got it on Amazon like secondhand for like $3.50. And it's like, so I'm just gonna grab it, put the disc in the box set, and chuck the case. Like,
why not? Yeah.
So I've got them all there. But annoyingly, they're releasing another Daniel Craig one.
Just in time to watch.
Isn't big enough.
Just in time to go to the cinema to watch No Time to Die.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. It's like my box doesn't have a space for No Time to Die, so it's going to have to be one separate. But it's always going to happen with Bond because they're just going to keep releasing them.
Yeah, I think I got the trilogy set. I don't think, or did I get? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I got the box set, the big white one with all of the films, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And they just left a space for.
Oh right, okay. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so the version I got has a space for Spectre because I think it was due out at the cinema, or it was at the cinema on this release, so they left space for it. So it's not gonna. The disc isn't gonna look the same as those discs. So
no.
So it doesn't matter. I don't care.
It's like I lost my copy of Aliens while I was at uni because we used to watch it so often in the house.
Yeah.
It was on rotation. It was either Aliens or RoboCop. They were the 2 drunk films.
Yeah.
Come in from the club and just put on.
What do you want to watch? Aliens.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And I think I left it in the DVD player. And I had the quadrilogy, and I had to go out and buy a new version of Aliens for like. Yeah, it was cheap. It was like £2 or £3 from somewhere, but the disc never matched. However, I've got it on Blu-ray now anyway, so it all matches again. It all comes around.
It doesn't matter. No. But so I've had all this time off recently just because it's the summer holidays. Like it seems such a redundant thing to say in this current climate.
It is
summer
weird,
holidays.
isn't it? Yeah, because actually, like that early kind of April, May kind of time, the weather was so good it felt like the summer holidays anyway.
Yeah, and where kids haven't been at school, it's like, how can you say it's the summer holidays? Like, but we did send Chloe back to school for the last 4 weeks of term.
Oh, right.
Just because Liz was like, she needed to be in the office a lot more. So I think we sent Chloe to school for like 3 or 4 days a week. Because I was working and Liz had to go into the office. So it's like, no one can have Chloe because her mum's shielding. Yeah. My mum's like, you weren't allowed to meet up with people. And it was really frustrating actually, because we were getting so sort of worked up trying to get Chloe to do her homeschooling. And we were getting emails from the school with them saying like, she's not doing enough. She needs to do this. She's not doing it. But also at the same time, receiving certificates for the work she was doing at home and praise from her teachers. But then her chapter head was sending messages out saying she's not doing this, she's not doing that. And so we're like, fine, get her to school. She can do more work if she's at school. The first day they watched films all day. Like, so then Liz was like, so she's going to have loads to do at home now because she didn't do any at school. And I'm like, look, if they're not putting in the effort at school to get them to do the work, why the fuck should we do it at home? Like, I don't get it.
It's but to be fair, like when you boil it down to kids moving between classrooms and the settling in the new the new lesson from the old one, you're actually really only doing in an hour 20 minutes of actual work. So I think this is one of the things that I read somewhere when people were really kind of struggling early on in lockdown with homeschooling. Some teacher posted somewhere, they were like, well, statistically speaking, kids only really do 20 minutes per hour. So if you're managing that, then that's you're good. On par. That's good. If you're not quite hitting that, then fine. It's not really an issue.
And this is the thing. Like Liz was getting more worked up because she didn't feel like we would getting enough done at home. And like I personally myself, it's just my attitude is I was just like, we can only do what we can do. Like she can only do what she can do. There's no point getting worked up about it. This isn't a normal situation.
No.
They can't be expected. As long as she's sort of doing at least like an hour or two of maths, English.
And she's what, year 8?
She's year 8, yeah.
So it's not like there are major exams at the end of this year that she's kind of missed out on.
I think the worry
as long as you're just kind of keeping up with doing the minimum really.
And it's just core subjects really is the most important thing. Like if she wants I think she chose to do RE as well, which was fine because she enjoys it, she finds it interesting, she takes after me in that aspect, in that sense. But so I mean, but like I say, now it's summer holidays, so which it is because Liz is now at work, like having to go into the office every day now. So we've worked it out that I'm only working 2 weekends in 4 weeks.
Right.
So I'm working at the weekend. So because Liz is working during the week, so I'm only working at the weekend. That's how it works. Because Liz is at home. That's what I was trying to say. And then I think for the last 2 weeks of the summer holidays, Liz is off of work. So, but the advantage because of the work I do, I've only taken I think 8 or 9 days off. Use only 8 or 9 days annual leave, but I'm off for 4 weeks essentially. So
because of the kind of shift nature of your work.
Speaking of work, have you had any news of work?
I don't want to talk. I'm still on furlough.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll talk to you off air
in private. Yes.
But it's worrying. It's been 4 months.
Yeah.
And we got an email through a week or two ago, maybe slightly longer, asking us to sign another amendment to our contract that takes it through to the end of October.
Right, yeah.
Some people have gone back.
Yeah.
Others are kind of doing a kind of flexi time. I think basically it's coming down to whatever the needs of the business are.
Sort of easing it back in.
Yeah, but not even that. Like, as long as your particular section is making a decent amount of money.
Yeah. I suppose they need to maximise their income whilst minimising risk.
Yeah.
So to speak.
But I know that there are letters going out that have gone out to a couple of people talking about that they are being considered for redundancy.
Oh, okay.
So that's starting to happen.
Yeah. It's such an uneasy time because I was speaking to another one of our friends who works in hospitality industry. So like he's a manager in hotels, and so some people have gone back to work, but he hasn't, because his particular role or the area he works isn't, or they're not able to come in yet. And I think the hotels are only getting like 7 guests, and it's quite a big hotel, 7 guests per night. So he's not sure if he's going back or not, but he's not even getting even as a manager, he's not getting updates. Like, he's not getting emails or letters to tell him what's happening. He's just assuming he's not going back yet because he hasn't heard anything. And it's, which isn't right, but it's worrying.
Familiar.
Yeah. It's very worrying times for people at the minute.
I mean, as much as I've tried to make the most of this time and remain positive, the last couple of weeks have been tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you've been saying as well, like when you messaged me, because that was one of the other things with the episode a couple of weeks ago, was like, because you were so busy, you just didn't want to do. So it's like, let's give him a break. Like, you sound like you need a bit of time as well. So that was one of the other reasons I sort of tried to take the reins and then messed up, and probably just added to the
it's like stress. It's, I didn't have time to think about it, mate. It was basically everything landed at once after having basically 4 months of lying around and doing what I wanted to do. All of a sudden, like, shops and services were opening up, and we'd been meaning to replace a fence in the back garden since the beginning of the year when we had all those storms, and it completely battered the remaining couple of panels that were just about holding on. One of them completely disintegrated. So there was a hole in the fence, and had been for 5 months at that point. But because we were about to do it in March, everything went
shut
into lockdown, and I can't fit panels into the back of my Polo. I don't have a roof rack,
and you haven't got an automatic, so it's not like you can just steer with the left hand and hold it onto the roof with your right hand, and get Joe to sit the other side with a hand out, with like seven 6-foot by 6-foot fence panels. I suppose she could have used her right hand to change the gears for you while you were steering with the left hand, But she's left-handed, so I think maybe the other way around. I don't know. Anyway, so we had to wait until then. And we planned to get the stairs, hallway, and the spare bedroom recarpeted as well. So that was another thing that we had to wait for them to open back up for. And it just all happened in 1 week. Yeah. We got the fence panels delivered on the Monday. And started, that was what I was doing on Monday, which is why I didn't realise that an episode hadn't gone out. Can't remember what. A Sunday was a family kind of barbecue or something that I had to do in the afternoon, which is why I couldn't do anything except for that morning. Excuse me. Oh, that was it, because initially I'd asked to do the Sunday afternoon, hadn't I? Because and the engineer was booked for the morning. And then so put most of the fence up on the Monday, then went to band practice for one of the bands, where I was told that my nan had had a mini stroke, was in the hospital.
She's fine now. She was discharged the next day. No, she wasn't. She was discharged at midnight on Monday. Like the same day she went in. They discharged an 82-year-old lady. I mean, they knew that my mum was there, but they wouldn't let my mum in to sit next to her. They told her she had to wait in the corridor, and then they told her to go home after an hour.
Yeah.
So they knew that my mum was around, but my mum's got a job. Like, she's working, you know.
It's wrong of them to assume that somebody could come and get her at midnight. But...
Yeah. An 82-year-old lady with mild dementia.
Yeah.
And it's just had a stroke and has fallen over in the centre of town.
Discharge her at midnight.
Yeah.
But then there's... I know, like... There's a lot of pressure on the NHS, which we understand, but stuff like that is sort of like it makes you question some of the choices they make, because I know
it's a high pressure job. We all know it. We all, you know. I mean, my nan was saying that she had absolutely no. You know, she was given great service while she was there.
Yeah. And I'm sure if no one could have come to get your nan, obviously they wouldn't have discharged her.
I think it came down to that, but you know, it's midnight, isn't it? You know,
just let her sleep, man.
Yeah.
Her body's going to be absolutely knackered from the stroke, because they take it, even mini stroke. It sounds like it's. It's still awful. Yeah.
She still had the slumped face. And no feeling in the left side, and the slurred speech and disorientation and stuff. But it was just lucky that she had a fall at home, and she went round to her neighbours and told them, and they said, right, is there anything that we can get you? And I think my nan said she needed bread or something, and they were like, well, here's a loaf. And she was like, no, I'll go out. I've got to go out and get it, because, you know, get on with it. All that kind of, you know.
Old school.
Old people being self-reliant. And
but it's the old school mentality, isn't it? It's like,
and then she literally got, you know, she lives on Church Street at the top of town. You know where Yates used to be?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She lives at the top of that road.
Okay, yeah.
She walks around.
Yeah,
Marsham Street.
Yeah.
And then she walked round to the back of Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
On the Week Street, and then she fell over there as well. And it was only that there were two carers who were just parked up in the car park out there. They saw it happen, and were with her like pretty much straight away.
Yeah. They sort of spotted the signs, I suppose. That's what I was going to say, because when you say mini stroke, generally you don't hear of people having a mini stroke. It's usually a series of mini strokes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
and it's possible that this was
possibly one as well, and then again in town. Because there is a story like talking of like discharge that seems like inappropriate. I know that there's when my ex, her dad, he collapsed, I believe.
Right.
So an ambulance came to pick him up as he was, like at home, I think. So I think he was in his pajamas, like I think it was at night.
Yeah.
So like the ambulance came out, picked him up. He was just in his pajamas, took him to hospital, and he was on his own. Like he went alone to hospital, I think, because the kids had school the next day or something. So the mum stayed at home. But then he was discharged. Like they were like, okay, you're free to go. So he ended up having to get a bus in his pajamas with no shoes.
Jesus
like they just discharged him like that. And like, but yeah, I mean, there was a whole thing, because he ended up dying shortly after that as well. Like there was a whole thing.
Wow.
Like there was a whole thing going on with that. It was, but you do hear some horrible stories like that. But they obviously thought he's fine to go. But it's still pajamas, no shoes. Like, how would you discharge someone like that?
Yeah, you think you've still got a duty of care at some point to be like, nah, this guy needs people to come and pick him up.
Yeah, but the problem is none of the family drove. Like, he's the only one that drove. So it's one of those things. He would have had to have got a bus, but it would have been nice for them to sort of
arrange a taxi, maybe.
Yeah, either arrange a taxi or let him wait for his wife to come with like some change of clothes or something like that. Like it's.
Yeah.
But you say she's recovered?
Yeah. I went down to see her. She stayed at my parents for 2 nights. I went down on the Tuesday. I had a chat with her, and we sat around and had a chat. And then she went to stay at my uncle's because my parents were going away that week as well.
Right.
Like they were taking their first holiday. They were going up to I think they went to Suffolk. Anyway, but yeah, it just wasn't a perfect time. So she went down to my uncle's and stayed there for a week. And I think she's back now, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm seeing my family again this afternoon, actually.
Okay.
Which is why I keep looking at the clock. I've got about 1.5 hours, which I didn't tell you before we started recording.
That's fine. No.
But yeah, so I'll get an update later today. But then went back and did basically our garden. There's trees down the bottom, which and down there's like, I mean, there was space for 2 fence posts, but that's where that tree fell over, that ivy tree that my neighbour had a problem with. We popped a little letter through her door to tell her that we were doing the fence like the night before the fence turned up. As the fence was being delivered, she came out and was like, "I've got a letter to put through your door." And I was like, "Right, okay.
Do you want to hand it to me?" "No, I need to put it through your door."
I was like, "Well, fence is here, so we're going to start putting it up. Are we allowed on your property so that we can secure it properly?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine." So yeah, we did the first ghost. Like,
okay, right.
She's the one who, like, you never hear her, and then occasionally there's like a sound on the walls, like she's scraping wallpaper, but it's just like occasionally, and it's been over 3 years. She's got like one set of clothes, and she just kind of appears in the garden sometimes and freaks the shit out of you, or you see her in a window
just
like
standing stock still staring.
Yeah, it's like the lady in black or whatever it is. The woman in black. So we put the first 5 fence panels down to the tree on the Monday, took the day off to go and see my nan on the Tuesday. Now the final post at the tree, I couldn't get in the ground because there's a tree there. There are roots. You can't drive a fence post into the ground. So I attached it to the tree on her side. Then on the Wednesday, we went and tried to put up the last 2 panels in between the 2 trees at the end. And again, we attached, because the night, would it have been Sunday night, I burnt the ivy tree. No, it must have been Monday. Because I pushed the ivy tree back over into our garden because she hadn't bothered doing anything to it. Like, while I was doing the fence panels, Joe was cutting branches off this ivy bush for like an hour to get it to a point where, like, we then needed to saw it, but we don't have a chainsaw, and I'm sure as fuck not renting one. They're dangerous. You need, you need protective gear to use that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I'll just set fire to it. We've got fence panels and old bits of wood and stuff down there that we need to get rid of. So, I just kind of set light to it on the Monday night. I think, no, it can't have been the Monday night. Maybe it was the Tuesday. I can't remember. Like, every day has bled into the next. I haven't known what day it's been for 3 weeks now.
You sound like you've had a time of it.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get to is, like, I burnt it. I burnt all the spare wood. I put like fence panels over the tree, and they burnt right through the fucker. So it was out the way. Then it was still hot on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday morning. Sorry. So we decided to go and do something else. Then came back later on in the day, put up the 2 fence panels. As we're attaching the last fence panel, I get the sense that I'm being watched.
Oh God.
Through the fucking trees, she's there, and as I turn my head, she moves away, and I'm like, I kind of motion to Joe. I'm like, she's there.
Yeah.
And then she kind of pokes her head back round and she's like, "You've changed the boundary line." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And then she goes off at the point that we've attached this fence panel to her side of the tree, and that the 2 fence panels that we've put up, bearing in mind we're attaching them from our side so we can actually unattach them if we ever need to.
Yeah.
We've moved the boundary line by this. It's like
foot,
8,
if that
8-10 inches.
Yeah.
Something like that. And in fact, we've given her more fucking space. And she's all on about like the fact that boundary lines shouldn't be moved. I have to walk away because I'm this close to jumping through there and strangling the fucking life out of her. Because she kicked off about the ivy tree. She did nothing to it for 5 months and then had a go at us saying it's our problem despite it's being in her garden. And actually the reason it fell over is that she destroyed the natural border there. There was like a hedgerow.
Yeah.
And her destroying that weakened the foundations of this thing, which is why it fell over in a stiff breeze.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Joe tried to have a conversation with her, and then halfway through the conversation, she just walked away, which is the worst fucking thing you can do to Joe. So what I ended up doing was cutting the last third off of this this panel that we'd attached to her tree. I went round there with a fucking handsaw because I don't have a jigsaw because it broke. I might have not been in the best of moods hacking away at this piece of fence. Then I attached a piece of battening to the tree and attached the remnants of this post, this panel onto that, and then filled in the bits with the old slats that I just kind of it looks like fucking awful, but you know, we've given her 5 centimeters of space back, and then I did nothing to the stuff down the bottom. I've just left it and she can fucking do one
or do it herself if she's that bothered.
That's it, yeah. And like she was quoting stuff like, "Oh, I've got the deeds and I've seen the deeds and it says that it should be this many," and we're like, "We've got the deeds as well, like we know what the boundaries are." But the fact of the matter is, if you want to drive a post into the roots of a tree, you fucking go ahead.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. And she's like, "You should get professionals in." And I'm like, "Mate, I've not been at work since fucking March." I was like, I'm unemployed. I'm on 70% of my wage at the moment. I'm fucking scraping by. And she walks off. She walks away. I'm like, "Fuck you, you fucking cunt."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I yes. People walking away, it's just over the sake of, like you say, like less than a foot.
Yeah.
Less than a foot, like half a foot or something. I mean,
it's giving her extra, like...
We had that with when we had our garden done. The guys were like, "We can't attach the new fence to that old fence or that shed because it might fall apart and it's your neighbours. So we're going to have to do it like this." And I asked the neighbours and they're like, "Yeah, do what you need to." And it's giving them a little bit more space. But obviously they were like, their housing association, they're like, "But obviously if ever comes to selling your house or the housing association asking questions, they're not going to be happy." And I'm like, "That's fine." And Liz was like, "But why? Why wouldn't they be happy? It's giving them more space on their side." And I'm like, "Yeah, but the problem is if anything happens within that few inches, like if a person's cat dies and that person gets upset, it's in their garden, but it's our responsibility because it's within our boundary." So it can cause issues, but
the thing is, like, we've
the chances of that happening.
Yeah, exactly. And also,
very
like,
slim.
We read into it because we were like, "I'm sure she's fucking wrong about like all this kind of boundary bollocks." And there are no actual laws.
Yeah.
Like, it's all kind of, it's kind of one of those ancient kind of, this is the boundary of your property and all that kind of bullshit. Like, it's not upheld by law. If she wanted to do something that maintains that boundary, she can put her own fence up right against our fence. Like that's what she can do about it. There's loads of kind of ins and outs, and
she can definitely sort it out herself if she's that bothered. Like,
and that's it. Like,
what's she going to do? Ask you to mow that strip of lawn or something? Because it's your lawn.
There's not any grass there, mate. It's dead.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like, she's lived there for 5 years and she's not uttered one fucking word to me in that whole time. And then she acts like a fucking cunt over the last couple of months for no reason. Like she just up and is like an aggressive old bitch.
Bored.
Yeah, and this is it. Like I've come to realise that there are some old people around here who seem to just be starting shit with people. And I think it's that. I think it's that they've got nothing else going on in their lives. They're not used to other people being around.
Yeah.
And they're just like, this whole thing is like throwing them off balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then, you know, Wednesday night I had band practice again with the other band. Then the carpet came, although that was the week after. We then had to prep the room. So I had to bring all the carpet up, hoover around, take the skirting board out, put new skirting board in. Because the roof is shit because someone put their foot through the loft.
How irresponsible.
We've put like polystyrene ceiling panels over it, and it looks a hell of a lot better. I hate polystyrene ceiling panels, but
it looks great.
Yeah, but that was a job as well. There's just been like little bullshit stuff like that. And then, you know, the carpet. I mean, admittedly, the guys who came around to do the carpet, they were here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They just like absolutely.
It's incredible. It's incredible watching like a professional. That's what when we had our kitchen done or when we had our garden, just watching the guys do it was like, how? Like, because Liz, like for a long time, it was kind of like, oh, we need to tidy it. Like in the old garden, it's just tidy it up. And again, it comes back to that when there's a list of jobs or when there's a job that seems like I just look at it like you get on with things. Like with the fence, you're just like, that needs doing, I'll do that. Yeah,
the thing is, like, I'm okay at DIY.
Yeah.
I can do it and I can do it well. But I fucking hate doing it. I have to be forced to do it.
Yeah. But you can do it and you do it. Whereas I can do it. But like, just as an example, tidying up the old garden, I look at it and I'm like, yes, it needs tidying up. I don't know where to start. I look at it and I'm just like, ugh. But then if Liz is there and she goes, can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And once I started, I get it done.
Yeah.
But it's starting thing. I look at things and I'm like,
it's almost like
how to do this.
Yeah.
I just feel so overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah.
Like, I just get totally overwhelmed.
It goes back to that whole cooking thing for me as well. It's like, I need an instruction manual. I need step by step. Like, this is where we're starting. This is how we're doing it.
Yeah,
this is how it'll end up. If I don't have that, I have no fucking clue. I can't. I can't make shit up as I go along.
I know the recipes I know, and I can modify the recipes slightly if I know them well enough. Like spaghetti bolognese, I know how to make spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll go, I'm going to try and put this in it today because that might be nice. And it turns out it is. But if someone said, come up with a recipe for a new spaghetti bolognese, I'd be like,
or like, how about
this is what we've got in our cupboard, make a meal from it.
Yes.
And I'd be like, no. What do you want me to make and how do I make it? Like,
yeah, I'm very much.
You tell me and I'll do it. But yeah, like going shopping, like if Liz goes, oh, we need to go shopping and we get there and she's like, oh, what do we need? I'm like, if she gives me a shopping list, I look at it, I'm like, cool, I can do that.
Find that.
But I can only do it. And she knows this. So when she gives me a shopping list, it's like, right, here's the... She doesn't go, this is what we need for our cupboards. This is what we need for the fridge. It's more like, right, this is aisle 1 and this is what you need from aisle 1 in the order they show up in aisle 1. Just grab it as you walk around the shop. Like she does a shopping list as it's set out in the shop. And I can do that.
Right. Yeah.
Do that. Until either something's moved or it's not, or they don't have anymore, and I need to find an alternative. And I'm just like, Or she says, we need tomatoes. And it's like, there's 5 varieties or tin tomatoes. There's 5 varieties of tin tomatoes. I'm like, what one does she want? And generally when I go shopping for her, I phone her up and like, what is it exactly you wanted? Like,
yeah,
it's awful. I'm just so overwhelmed by stuff. Like I just don't.
Left to my own devices, I always pick the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Why have you got that one? It's the other one. What other one?
What other one? I saw this one, so
I got the first one that I.
But it's 3 times the price. But it's what you wanted.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what I wanted though. Yeah.
Women, eh?
But I'm women, fucking women. But it's not our fault. We're not the useless ones. But I'm the sort of thing as well. Like Liz left me a list of things to do Friday, a list of jobs, and she even said to me, she goes, "I've written a list of jobs. It looks like a lot, but it won't take you long. It's fine." I'm like, okay, thank you. I didn't get them all done because, but and I explained it to Chloe as well because Chloe had quite a few things to do yesterday, and I was just like, okay, do what I do. Do something for half an hour, and then go and sit down. And then go back and do the next thing and then take a break. And because I can't go, right, I'm going to do all of this in the morning and then have a break. And have the afternoon to myself. I have to do a little bit at a time. And I was telling Chloe, just do a little bit at a time, take plenty of breaks because it's just overwhelming for me. Like I just can't do it. And if I think I need to do all of this and I feel like I'm going to do it all in one go, that's when I will sit on the chair and just not do anything. Like not even like looking on YouTube, not even like I'm not doing anything. I just sit there like, I just zone out completely. Like,
right. Yeah.
And then it's 3 hours later and I'm like, shit, I haven't got time to do all this now.
Yeah.
Or it's a frantic sort of like 45 minutes before Liz gets home from work trying to do everything.
You realise that you're like, oh shit, man, if I just like do a little bit of hoovering and spray some polish in the air or something.
It will look much better. Yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. That's the really annoying thing though. Sometimes I will do the job and Liz will come home and she goes, "Did you hoover?" And I'll be like, "Yes, I fucking hoovered. It's the only thing I did, but yes, I did." How dare you accuse me of not doing anything? I hoovered.
When I did one
it doesn't
thing.
look like I hoovered. Yeah. But then I have another day, like one day last week, where I like really tidied up the kitchen looked great, the living room looked great. Like I tidied everything. And she came home and it was lovely, and she was surprised by it. And like I did some washing, I hung it out, and I brought it back in. I put it away. I cleaned I really productive day. And the next day, because I didn't do that, it was worse. The reaction was worse because I can do it, obviously.
Yeah. It's it is what it is.
Yeah. That's just how my mind works. I'm just incapable.
Nah. What I kind of hoped was for a revamped like conversations with Chloe or something, or.
Yeah, I did consider I was going to I literally was going to ask Chloe if she wanted to podcast, and that probably would have been the easiest thing.
Well, the easiest thing to do is just do what I tend to do sometimes, which is like, here's a bunch of podcasts that I'm listening to.
Yeah. That's the easiest thing. Yeah.
you know.
No, I did tell you the idea. Like I want to, and I still want to do it. Actually, it's just like a taster thing. And I do have an idea what I want to do, and I think it's just like overstretching or sort of trying to do too much. Like I actually want to do a proper thing where I research and I have an idea and like almost like a script for it. Yeah, because I think that would be the best way to do it.
Well, that was how that particular show started out, anyway, wasn't it? Like we had it was semi-scripted.
Yeah, but we have these stories and we read them and then we kind of fumbled our way through the facts, or I did anyway, at least.
Yeah, same here.
With my one. But I wanted it actually properly set out, and like the idea I've got, which I can tell you about, like would have had sound clips and it would have had examples of how this has influenced stuff, and it's really good. And I've actually got like a software where, or like on my phone as well, where you can actually like plan stuff and you can have separate places for research documents but you have one particular thing where you write the whole script. And it doesn't show up all the research stuff, but you can have it there as a reference. And
all right.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we'll see how it goes.
Because that was the other thing as well. It's like I had this episode to edit as well,
mate, and what a fucking mammoth episode as well.
Yeah, what I should have done, because I did say on the Monday little pre thing, was that I'm probably not going to get it done by the end of the month. And I think I should have probably not tried to murder myself getting it done, because literally in the last week I've done something like 20 hours on it.
Yeah, because I remember seeing you posted, I've just done the first pass of it.
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, you released it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Joe wasn't happy. Because she was... I think I should have given it another pass. I might go back in and remix it.
But we are our own worst critics, to be fair.
Yeah.
But what sort of feedback have you had from it?
Positive. I mean, it's only been out.
Well, yeah, to be fair. And it is a long one, so it's going to be a while before.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Not everyone is able to listen to it in one go.
No. I mean, already it's clocked up more downloads than my entire first month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's probably worth it.
Yeah. And it seems like it should have been worth putting one more pass into it.
But you're going to say, even if you had put that one more pass into it, you'd probably want to put one more pass into it.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing is, because it's such a long piece and there's loads of, clips and things that go in, I then needed to put a bit of a little bit more context into it before playing a clip or something.
Right, yeah.
And I tried to match my tone of voice from when I did the original recording a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to do that because, you can set things up one day and it will sound this way.
Yeah, yeah.
And go and set it up exactly the same again the next day and it will sound completely different.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does that. Like none of the settings change on the desk. Everything's the same distance away, mic to mouth.
Possibly. I mean, just throwing this bullshit. It's bullshit what I'm about to say. Like, I'm just making it up off the top of my head. But I think like the way microphones work, like the actual, the part that receives the audio is like a ribbon that vibrates, or like a piece of metal that might vibrate. That's what picks up your voice. So the temperature could sort of influence that, like that piece of metal could expand or contract, and it will affect the sound.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
I'd say it will, potentially.
Yeah,
like I say, it's bullshit. It's the only thing I can think.
It's all alchemy and magic anyway.
Yeah, we know that because sometimes it goes completely fucking wrong.
Yeah, precisely, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's really weird because you think, because what I ended up doing was started to do an impression of myself.
Yeah.
And I can hear it.
Yeah.
And like halfway through a sentence, my tone changes slightly.
Because you forget you're doing an impression of yourself, and
yeah. But yeah, I think I might go back in and remix it. But it's only because I set myself a thing that it's a monthly thing. Yeah. I even said I'm probably not going to do it this month. I'm probably going to take a little bit more time. And then I was like, and then Joe was like, well, why don't you do it? Because it's clearly playing on your mind. So I did. And I got it done, but to the detriment of like, I did it on the hottest day of the year. I was in the shed for 5 hours.
Oh, it's been so awful. The temperature has been so awful. And annoyingly, like the climbing gyms have opened back up, or gyms in general. So I went climbing on that day.
Right,
it was fucking awful. Like Liz was like, isn't there air conditioning? I was like, no.
Is there not?
No, they've got fans in the ceiling and they've got fans blowing air, and they open the doors. But in opening the doors, you're letting more warm air in.
Hot air in, yeah.
But then you're also climbing. You're also exercising.
Yeah.
And like, although it might only be like 20, 30 seconds. You're just climbing up this short route. But it's the amount of physical exertion to do that. And oh my God. But I've loved it. I've loved them. Like, they've only been open a week. I've been like 3 times already.
Are they going to have to shut back down though?
potentially, if the R number still rises, if it keeps going up, because they
numbers are going up, aren't they?
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Because they put a hold on further openings, didn't they? They were supposed to open bowling alleys and stuff this week.
Casinos.
Yeah, but they put a stop to that. Yeah. Have you seen...
And venues, live
live music,
music and things, which is annoying. Because
that's really annoying.
We're getting back to being gig ready now. And I know that we've got a couple of gigs lined up that haven't been cancelled for September, October, November and December.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily the venues, it's live performances have been cancelled. So whilst pubs are open, you aren't allowed to perform in them. Is that right? You can go and drink in them, but you can't play in them. Yeah.
Even though, like, having a band in a pub generally, especially if it's an originals band, I mean, that will help with the social distancing anyway, because no fucker wants to come out.
And it reduces the capacity because depending on what, you can take up half of the available space for people.
Yeah,
but then that also does force people to sort of stand closer together. So. Yeah,
you've seen the rig that the covers band carries around with it.
Yeah,
it takes up half. Yeah, it's loud. But so and the other thing, of course, is that I'm singing now in the covers band.
Oh, you're doing this. You've taken the vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happened to the other guy?
Yeah.
Or is that something we'll talk about off?
He didn't fit in.
Okay.
There were tensions between a couple of people, and really? It's not worth rocking the boat.
No, because it's been going quite well, and the fact is, you can sing. You know all of the songs already.
I can hold a tune.
It's one less person to organise. It's one less ego, shall we say?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And to
we
be
wouldn't
fair,
play live music. We wouldn't put ourselves up there if we didn't have an ego.
Of course not. Yeah. Like,
and
it's
we're
nice
podcasters as well. Of course, people want to hear what we've got to say.
But interestingly, the four of us, the musicians in the band, we have quite level egos. They're all on a plane. So that's been quite nice. Like, none of us get outrageously pissed or stoned. None of us think we're Jimmy Page.
It's very specific.
I don't know where you get that idea from. We all know that we can. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, the other three guys can all hold a tune as well and can all sing while playing parts. So
definitely. I mean, like,
what's quite interesting is that, like, even the drummer, he's singing one of the songs. Like, one of the guitarists is going to sing a couple. Like, it's just much more democratic that way too, because you're like, well, you like that song, and if you can sing it,
you know
ahead.
it.
It's whoever does the best job.
Yeah, because one of the worst things is like when a cover band plays a song where quite clearly all the musicians know the song, but the singer doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not how the song goes, and it doesn't sound like you're putting your own spin on it. It sounds like you don't know the song.
Like you don't really know it, and that's a lot of the trouble that we've been having.
Yeah, and I know you. But no, I mean, like when me and Liz came to saw you. Fucking, where did that come from? When Liz and I came to see you play, and you always sung one of the songs anyway, didn't you? Well, you did when we saw you. There was one.
I had a couple of songs that I did myself.
And it sounded great, like so. Yeah,
and actually, like, I think they were very, very resistant. The other guys, to me taking over that role as well, because they were like, "No, we need a definite, like," and I agree with them. You need a singer because they can just concentrate on the singing, rather than the playing. And then I could just because I can't do a lot of the fiddly shit while also singing. I just can't. It's impossible to me. Like, bass is a rhythm thing. And if you're not on the rhythm, it's very difficult to then sing off rhythm while playing on rhythm, or, do you know what I mean?
Because bass is it's like bass and drums are like the backbone of the song. They carry the rhythm through.
It's timing,
So you need to be consistent. But you know, and it is difficult anyway. It's a massive coordination thing, sort of playing and singing. It's a massive coordination thing, and I can't do it. Like I'm really uncoordinated. So
you used to do decent backing and stuff.
Yeah. Backing vocals fine, but like I wouldn't be able to sing a whole and play.
I think it just takes time. What I've come to realize is that I'm playing and singing Judas Priest songs and Motorhead songs and things like that, and I'm like, they're not really in my range.
Yeah,
and there are there are some songs, the Thin Lizzy one, Don't Believe a Word. I didn't think I'd be able to do that because that's kind of all over the neck. But I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And also we've started doing Back in the USSR by the Beatles, which is a Paul McCartney bass line. So
yes,
it's everywhere, but I can play it and I can sing it. So like, it's all to do with practice at the end of the day. Like we're getting there, and I'm absolutely sure that like given enough time, you could do this stuff as well, you know?
Yeah.
But I was thinking the other day about Smokey's birthday.
Oh, of course.
And the promise that was made.
Yes. When is that?
Might just be you and me acoustically, I think.
Yeah. I think it'd have to be. I think
couple of years away yet, I believe.
Yeah, good.
But, so I mean, there's all that. So I'm learning words to songs that I'm not. The only reason that I'm familiar with them is because I've been playing them for a couple of years, but I don't necessarily know what the fucking words are.
Yeah. You know the melody, you know how it all fits together, but it's the specific words. Yeah, there. Speaking of music, did you see that Billie Eilish just dropped a song the other day?
No, I didn't. I
like just.
Oh, right.
I was looking on Spotify and I thought, I fancy listening to some Billie Eilish, and I just thought, what the fuck's that song? And I think she released it on like the 30th, and like there was no massive announcement. It's just there now. It's really good.
I think that seems to be what people are doing now, especially when they're massive. It's like Beyonce, wasn't it, a couple of years ago, just dropped that album out.
Just dropped an album out of nowhere. But
not even sure she told her record company, because there was no promotion at all. It was just there one day, wasn't it?
Yeah. But no, the Billie Eilish song is really good. Actually.
Right.
You don't have Disney Plus, do you?
Not anymore. I'm gonna get it back at some point, because I think O2 are doing a deal where you can get 6 months for free.
I think you can tack it onto Sky for like
I think so too.
But no, because I was just thinking about Hamilton was released like a little while ago. I was going to ask if you've seen it yet, but
don't have Disney Plus.
No, but you don't have Disney Plus.
Unlikely that I would either. So
what? Have Disney Plus or watch it?
Watch it.
It's so good.
I'm just not a musicals guy.
No, I know, but it's not a traditional musical.
I know. It's
no, I know. I've sold it to you so many times in the past. But it is a musical, which you don't like. But I've tried selling it to you so many times. I know you've heard it all, but and it's the hype as well.
Yeah.
But no, to be fair, I've only watched it 3 times. It's been on
That was going to be a question that I was going to ask. I saw you and Greg chatting about it anyway.
Yeah. It's just so good. So good. Oh, well.
No, we've. I think we have been occasionally sitting down of an evening, and we take it in turns to pick movies and stuff that we're watching at the moment. Watch Get Out for the first time a little while ago. That's fucking amazing.
Is it really? Yeah, that's one that I need to. Yeah, I keep meaning to watch.
Because I watched Us on the plane last year.
Yeah,
and was like, Jesus Christ, like this is good. I need to get around to watching Get Out, and then it was on. So just been recording stuff.
Isn't it Jordan Peele?
That's right. Yeah.
Of Key and Peele. Yeah, the comedy duo.
Yeah, but he's like a horror director,
and like really good, and he writes them as well, doesn't he?
Yep. Writes, directs. Yeah,
he does like really silly comedy.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't say more psychological.
Yeah,
thrillery horror stuff, but well worth it. Like I didn't realize what it was about. I think, and then you get like towards the end, and it's all revealed as to what's going on, and you're like, "Fucking hell!"
I think I've heard something about what it might be about, but I'm not sure if it's right. So I don't want that confirmation.
No, I knew. I'd heard nothing about the plot.
But from what I know, it's for almost like traditional subject matter of horror, like old sort of horror.
Yes,
old in modern telling, like modern way. Almost.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's kind of B-movie-ish.
Yeah,
the actual like the thing that's going on is very kind of Hammer.
Yeah,
B-movie, but it's super modern in its telling.
Yeah.
And there's a bit at the end where your heart falls to your feet.
Wow.
And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. No, it sounds like something I really need to watch then.
Yeah, and Us is good as well. Like I recommend that too. His second film.
Yeah.
And so I've only watched it on a plane.
Where are they? Where did you watch? Was it on Sky Movies, Sky Cinema?
No, I think it was on
Netflix
Film 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like I tend to every day I'll flick through what's on Film 4.
Yeah.
And if there's anything on that I haven't seen, I'll stick it on record and we'll come back to it later. There's so much on that box.
Film 4, yeah, it's always worth looking at Film 4. They have some really, really good films on there.
Did you see that? That Arnold Schwarzenegger film that I took a screenshot of the synopsis the other day?
I think I did, yeah.
Where is it?
I think I did.
I don't know who's writing these, but I've seen a couple of them recently, and this one was the best I've read so far. It's for a film called Sabotage.
Yeah, I did see you post it, yeah.
And like the synopsis is violent, gory action thriller. And then the synopsis is Arnold Schwarzenegger drives Humvees at fences and shouts, "Go, go, go," as head of a band of DEA agents in too deep with a cartel. It's like that's
an actual synopsis.
About. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger drives Humvees at fences and shouts,
Screaming,
"Go, go, go."
Brilliant. I love stuff like that. People have fun with their jobs. Like I love that. That's why I love like Twitter, like where you see like the social media teams of like brands just having fun and being real sort of like snarky to people. Have you seen though those parody customer service Twitters?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
that's so good.
Where they jump in on genuine complaints, don't they?
Yeah.
And so, really wind up.
Get over it, then, Karen. It's shit like that. And they're like, "How very day," and then you see the actual customer service. This isn't the real customer service. Like they're trolling you. We are the real customer service account.
There was one I saw the other day that Sainsbury's had put out, and it was replying to a complaint, and it was written in this quite formal way, and then at the end it said Karen. So it looked like it was like blah, 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 Karen.
Yeah.
And obviously this other person had read it that way and was like, wow, there's no need for the passive-aggressive, like, Karen-splaining thing going on here. And then there was a reply under that from Sainsbury's being like, Karen is the name of the person who replied to the complaint.
Yeah. I think I saw that one as well. The customer thought they were calling her a Karen. Oh, that's so good. I'm really trying to think of a film. Like we were talking about films, there was a film we watched the other day. It was the guy who made District 9.
Blomkamp.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the film was. And I think it's one that I'd seen before, but Liz hadn't.
Oh, Neil Blomkamp. Chappie?
No, still haven't watched that, actually.
Oh, it's really good. It's like updated Short Circuit.
Yeah, no, I remember you saying it was really good. And someone at work was saying to me about it the other day. And obviously they brought into the fact, like, the music as well. Like,
because it's what do you call them? That South African kind of techno punk band. Die Antwoord,
yeah, that was it. Yeah. I remember what film it was, and it's not one that I've watched. It's one that I wanted to watch. It was Elysium.
Oh right, yeah. What did you think? I was underwhelmed. It was
right, actually. I thought it was quite good. It was fine because that is Blom. It is Blomkamp, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He did do, yeah, because it had
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon, but the other guy that's in the anyway.
The South African guy.
Yeah.
with the accent.
Yeah. Like he was in it. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Like it was great. I think
the premise is quite interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. Like a Halo planet. That's the thing that's like been around for a while. Because it's like, it looks like Halo, and it's like that Halo didn't make it up. That's a thing that's been...
It's a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
Trope. I don't know. I can't remember what it was that
Jodie Foster's French accent.
Yes, and the weird dubbing thing, because her mouth doesn't say the same words as her voice, and in the same way, like that dubbing really was poor. Yeah. And I mean, whether or not like she was doing another accent, and they were like,
"That shit, come back,
do this
and
accent
re-record."
instead.
But her accent was awful. I think there was a lot wrong with it. There's a lot of unnecessary stuff. There's a lot wrong with it. It's a bit weird.
The visuals are great.
Yeah. It's a great action film. It's fun, but there is a lot wrong with it. But I had fun when I watched it. It looked really good. There's because we've got. I think we watched that on Amazon Prime. So we've got Prime now as well. We got everything. We got Netflix. We got Prime. We got Sky. It is. But the problem is with where that whole thing happened with Sky, where we just didn't have any cable service for a long time, made me realise we didn't need Sky at all. Because we were just watching stuff on like Prime and Netflix and normal terrestrial TV, and it was fine.
Yeah, I know.
However, it's nice to have a choice in it.
Exactly, yeah. And the other one that we watched really recently, I think it was a night or two ago now, was Chef.
Chef's
Jon Favreau.
Amazing.
Oh
Absolutely
my God.
love
I
Chef.
don't know why it's taken me so long to get around to it, because it's been on there again. It must have been on there for months and months.
Yeah.
But what an amazingly feel-good film that is.
Brilliant. So good. Yeah, Liz spotted it on there. She was oh, Chef, we need to watch Chef. And I was like, yeah, we should watch that again. It's such a good film.
Yeah,
I just love Jon Favreau. I don't think that man can do anything wrong.
And John Leguizamo as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So good.
Yeah, it's just, and it kind of chimes with the times as well, I suppose. It's like this guy getting fired and then trying to find the thing that he really likes doing.
Yeah, sort of passion.
Yeah,
going out and just following his heart and doing what he wants and being successful at it is. Absolutely. It's such a good film.
Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
I think we are. Yeah.
Quite. I don't even know how long. I don't even look at what time I started recording.
Probably well over an hour at this point.
Yeah. That's.
But we better do something for Patreon today.
We definitely should. Definitely.
So let's head over and do that. If you're not a patron already, sign up, because there'll be something new on there for a change.
Yeah. I posted a message on there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, I know. Like, people did get in touch and said, "Look, seriously, you don't have to put out an apology for it. We understand." But my feeling is, especially with the patrons, because I know when we don't post stuff and apologize, and like they say, "Don't worry about it, it's fine," and I'm just like, "But it's not." But like, it's only $1 or whatever. I'm like, but it's not the value of currency. It's not that. That's not the value we hold. It's the fact that you are willing to do that. Yeah, it's what that donation means. Yeah, not its value, not how much you're donating. It's what that means. That's what's
service.
Important. Yeah. No, but it's what it means. Like you're doing that because you care and you want to support us. That's where the guilt, I suppose, comes in. Or not even guilt. It's where that makes us want to do stuff for you. And we do feel terrible when we can't, but Anyway,
but we will today. So we'll see
today.
You over
so
there
stop talking, Anne.
Because there's like half an hour before I need to go.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. So until next time. I've been Tom.
I've been Anne.
Bye.
Bye.